got that in the mail. That's that icing right there. I'm gonna get onto that flywheel over there just in a minute. But in the meantime, was going to well, let me clear the bench right here real quick. I may even knock this, well, I'll do that. You know, to put a lot of straight lines on something really quick. But the project was the Circus Wagon. And this engine right here, that's the engine that was intended to go on that wagon there. But as this engine evolved, I'm going to switch them out. Maybe a confusion on what I call the videos, but the results will be a smoother flow of items through the shop. And the cart that I built for this engine will be totally different than the cart that I have already started because of the design that I have taken this engine into. So I hope it reflects in the finished product and is okay with the viewers, I guess. But this thing right here, to go on that circus cart that used to be here, it's over the floor now. But I need a header to go on the front. There'll be a seat up on top, and there'll be a footrest right in this area. So, 2 metal pieces coming out to hold that. And I made these things right here. I'll tell you a little bit of history here. I made these. This right here, yeah, I made them back in 1992. Volunteered down there at Libertyland at Memphis to restore that carousel. It's a dentzel, and I was a participant in that restoration group. But as a side project, I made these. I took one of these off of that carousel. They were missing on the unit itself, these plaques. These goes in the rounding board up there. On the inner board, there's an archway on that carousel, and through time, all of those rounding boards had got through weather, elements mostly, deteriorated them. They were plastered with a burlap support, but they were able to find one of them, only one existing at that time that they know about, and it was stored in the basement of the Pippin, the ride, the famous thing. This archway thing where the mechanism comes out and drives the horses. And this right here was a plaque that went up there that covered up the slot. So you could put that up there and slide that down in there and then put this up there. And these was on that Libertyland, was on that carousel until I made about 20 of them, I think. But they were on the carousel until they moved it off up there to Ohio somewhere or another and restored it. Now they brought it back down there, and I've not seen it since. But anyways, I made a couple of extra ones. I got one down there at the house, and I gave a couple of them away. But this is a perfect match to that carousel. And I've been wanting to use them all these years. What is that? 19 years ago I made them. So I made a mold of the original one of these, and then I cast these at my home for that carousel. And And the rounding board, the backing for this, not the rounding board, the backing for this, the arch, I put it back together and made a mold of that, and also made a complete set of them. And on the same commission, I made the jester head mold of one of the existing on the inside, made a mold of that jester head, and then cast, I think, what is it, 11 or something, those facets on the outside of the pavilion that was at Libertyland, and they were up there. You would see them when you come up to the carousel. So, but anyway, it's too big to use on this circus wagon, so I'm going to use these on the front. It was quite an interesting project, to say the least. But and then I'll cut these off here, and then shape the bottom of this and apply that here, and then apply it to the wagon over is the plan. It's time to get some stuff done. And you know, one time well, there was a comment on my channel page, comment a couple days ago was, how do you adjust the speed on one of them international LAs, or LB for that matter, if it don't have no speed lever on it? I'll show you. I'm not going to drag the whole engine out here. I'm not going to get one in there, but I'll show you how what you're doing. I'll show you something. Them little LA engine, LB engines, they don't have this lever on there. They're supposed to be straight when they're new. But if you don't have this lever on there, then what you do is you go on the backside of your flywheel there, where this is normally would be at, to do this right here, to change the horsepower. And all you're doing on that engine to go from 1.5 to 2.5 is changing the horsepower. To do that, you're increasing or lowering the RPM, which is what this does to control the governor to that setting. So if you don't have a lever, then your little mechanism down here will look like this. It'll have a set screw right there, and you loosen up that set screw and you turn that screwdriver slot, and a nut catch nut, and it sticks out, and you adjust it back and forth. So, and you can see the variations. That's out about 1/8 of an inch. Well, this one's considerably less, and this one's about even. So, but if you want to change the horsepower of the engine, that's the only reason you would change this here. Actually, once you've made your everything bolted together, and but that's the way that works. It's the same way, except and that's the way this works. If you want to change the setting, like say when you come back in the low position or front, whichever one it is, to the back. When you come back to low, if it's not low enough, then you can back this off a little bit and lower RPMs of the same position here, but it also lowers them on the top end up there. But I hope that answers your question on them LAs. But, yeah, I got another project here that to do. Some good website on this internet. A good website is Harry's Old Engine. You know, just type in there old engine and you'll get over to it. But it's a wealth of information. Mr. Matthews there puts a lot of time in on that right there, and I'd recommend Harry's Old Engine to anybody, an old collector or a new person that's just now getting into the hobby. And another shout out to Bruce and Karen over in Germany or somewhere over in yonder, and everybody else that I'm supposed to holler at. But I'm going to turn this into Mr. Pete, the internet shop teacher. Hey, Mr. Pete. Thank you, sir. But I'm going to turn this in as a student, heartfelt evaluation. I'm going to turn this as casting in. It's resin. Cost about $30 a gallon back in the day. But to make a mold of a artifact and cast these, and this is the item I'm going to turn in for the grade with the credentials of the other set of them was applied to the carousel there in Memphis over at Libertyland. Turning them in for grade from here in Middle Tennessee. Shot Dog Sand. Located here in the middle of the... Well, yes. You know, just kind of building for size as I go along. So I'm going with these plaques here. So, and this right here, this will be a seat right here. I'll put a little molding right there, a little smaller one, you know, like maybe for one rider only. And then I need a footrest, probably about right here. So I have to come out with a bracket up here to that, probably metal, you know, a flat piece of metal to come up with the arm to come out like that. That's a complicated bend right there, but I think we can do it all right. So, but this is the general design up to today, and it'll be equipped with a handbrake, with the lever mechanism, and a drawbar coming back to the two brake pads on the front of that wheel right there. And that linkage will come up and attach to this hand lever, possibly on the other side. We may move that to the other side. But and that will be the steering end of the wagon. So this being the other end of it, the rear, with some, you know, crooked cut wood like that right there, and then right here, I was thinking I might put like a handrail offset from the front of that with a little stanchion from here to here to add some length to the unit. Not that it needs very much, but you know, I'm just saying that's about where we're at right now. Well, you know, I'm gonna go with a wider board to attach one side to the other to give it some bracing effect. I think's what I'm going for there, and a handrail type look, and then just it's going to be the, and there will be a top in it. And one of the deciding factors also going the route of this type being a circus wagon, even up to the point of now. At the present, I still don't have a theme for this wagon, so we'll progress along as well. Yeah, you know, just a test for colors. I'm here in Middle Tennessee, geographical center of something. Shop Dog Sam. Hey, y'all come on back. Subscribe if you want to. I pass the video on to a friend. Thanks now. Hey, y'all come on back next week. And we'll do something else to this circus wagon.